Hey friends, it is an absolutely picture perfect fall day here, and I am so excited to get in the garden and get my hands in the dirt. We have got gorgeous Carolina blue skies. There is definitely a crisp breeze that is coming through today. We have just had several days of some really good rain, which means Jenny has been stuck in the house, and I am ready to get my hands in the dirt and get back in the garden. I've got my furry companion with me, and y'all, look at this. Look at this tree. Is she not absolutely gorgeous? So what we're going to do today is we are going to have some fun. Like I said, we are going to switch out the urns here on the patio. They still have their summer plantings. We are going to put in their fall winter plantings that will take us all the way through the spring. Yes, here in the South, I am blessed that I can plant those fall annuals that will last me throughout the season. So I'm very happy. The sun is coming out. Vitamin D therapy is in progress. We are also going to give you an update on the butterfly candy buddleias because they are loving life. We do need to add some mulch to that, and then ginkgo showing off. So there are so many great fall things happening here in the backyard that I cannot wait to share them with you. My dog she is obsessed with biting at yellow jackets. You would think that she would learn not to bite at yellow jackets because they sting. I guess she likes spicy food. I don't know. So if you see Brenna snapping at something, that's just the yellow jackets that she's taking care of. So what are we going to do first? Well, first, we are going to get our hands dirty and probably a lot of other body parts dirty as well, because we did just have a ton of rain. And so these urns are full of wet soil, so that means some fun gardening. But I do have the two urns here on each side of the seating wall on our patio. And you can see that they have the vermilion air Kufia. Of course, we love that. The hummingbirds love that. And I planted this, oh my gosh, I don't know, a couple months ago. And the hummingbirds were eating it up until the time they left. Clearly, it is time to take them out. So what we're going to do is remove them and probably all of the soil out there as well. I'm going to say we're going to remove all of the soil. I always preach that to you. So what we're going to plant, it is going to be simple, but it is going to be fun. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be moody and cheerful all at the same time. So in each urn, we are going to plant one Ms. America mustard. I love this mustard, y'all. I use it every fall. It is amazing. It is an edible mustard. However, we're going to use it in an ornamental feature. So we're going to put these in the center of the urns, and then around them, we are going to plant some of the wave pansies. So these are trailing pansies. They're not leggy. This is what they're supposed to do. So they go out and they trail. So I think I have enough to do 4 in each container. And my sweet little friends, I am going to teach you a trick. I've told you this trick before, but maybe you don't remember it. So I'm going to teach you a trick on how to create an easy container that you're not going to have to be fussing with the soil and all this and make a mess. It is so easy to do, and that is what we're going to, I'm going to teach you to do that. So we're going to do that first. So let me get the camera set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything cleaned up, meaning I'm going to remove the vermilion air and the soil that is in the container. Like you can see how the water is still pouring out because it rained up until I think early this morning. So we are glad to see some sunshine and a little bit of wind because we've got some water pouring out. So this means that the soil is going to be super saturated. So it's going to be nice and heavy and fun to get out of these urns, but I am going to do it. So I'm going to get all the things cleaned up, and I'll meet you right back here. I'm going to teach you this little trick into creating a simple way, a trick. How am I going to say this? A trick to plant your containers, right? I will get the words out eventually. I'm just so enamored by the cool, crisp temperatures and the breeze and the sun. I'm just so excited. I can't wait to be out here. All right, see you in a second. my friends, just as I suspected, when I pulled out those vermilion hair, they had completely developed their roots so that it completely encircled this entire urn. There is no soil remaining. And that's the thing about being short, right? So me and my 5'2" self didn't have enough leverage to pull them up when I'm standing on the ground. So it's a good thing I had the seeding wall right here and was just able to pull them out. Now we do have drip irrigation in these urns. I don't run it during the winter because it rains all the time and I don't need to. So, I can't disconnect it, so I just leave it in here. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of stick it towards here, towards the bottom, and then we're just gonna plant on top of it. Now, if it comes to the spring and they're still here and I don't have my summer annuals in and I need to turn it on, trust me, those roots will have touched that irrigation line, and so if I turn it on, it'll be fine. So the irrigation is just gonna hang out there in the bottom. Now, the tip that I have, the little trick for you, this makes the planting in my mind easier because I'm not gonna have to worry about messing up my plants when I'm trying to add the soil back in. So this is what we're gonna do. Number one, if you still have your summer annuals in your container, remove them. Probably all of that soil is going to come out with them because their roots are so vigorous. So start with a fresh pot, and we're going to start with fresh potting soil. Choose whichever potting soil you like, right? Whatever your preferred potting soil is, that's what I want you to use. Today I have Proven Winners. I was down there at the garden center, and I was like, you know what? It's right here. Let me grab it. I do adore the Proven Winners potting soil. There's other ones that I love just as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the soil in here. I'm going to kind of tuck down my irrigation because I messed it up a little bit. We're going to put it in here, but I am not going to fill the container all the way up, okay? Especially because these urns are a little shallow. So maybe about half of it. All right, perfect. So now I'm just gonna zhuzh everything, break up any clumps that you may have, and get everything tucked in here nice and even. So what we're gonna do next is we're going to take our plants that are gonna go into the urn, and we're going to take them out of their pots, and we're gonna set them just off to the side. Their little root balls exposed. They're gonna be naked here for a minute, and they're just going to sit there, because I need this pot. So what we're going to do is we are going to, quote, plant the pot. So my mustard is going to go dead center of this urn. So I'm going to kind of bury it down a little bit. And I also like for, see, it's a little off-centered so that I can easily move the pot. I don't have to worry about messing up the plant. Put it in here. I do like for my final soil to be just below the lip of the container, so that way when it rains or I do have to hand water it, soil doesn't flow out. All right, so I've got the Ms. America pot right now is planted. Now I've got 4 of my wave pansies. So I'm going to take all 4 of them out because I need all 4 of these containers, because we're going to do the same thing with these containers. We're going to faux plant the containers, the pots, the empty pots. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 4 quadrants, north, south, east, and west with these pots, right? So we're going to space them evenly on each side of Ms. America. We're going to bury them. Make sure that the pot tops are even with each other so you don't have one root ball sticking out above another one. Pushing them down. Now, once you know where your pots are going to go, we're going to come back with the soil and we're going to top dress. So we're going to make sure that all of the pots are completely buried and only their tops are showing, okay? Do not worry if the soil gets in the pot. It's not a problem. We can easily, we're going to take the pots out of the container here in a second so we can easily add the unused soil that's in the nursery pots back to our bag. So the very important key point of this is you've got to pack down the soil all around the pots, because what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and once we're done with this, we're going to gently remove the nursery pots out of the container, and we're going to have a form left where the nursery pots were. So then we can easily slip the plants into the pre-made holes in the container. I'm probably showing my age. Think about it's gonna be like a Jell-O mold. Remember back in the 80s, early 90s, where Jell-O salads were like a big thing, and everybody had their Jell-O molds, and you had to make sure that you got the gelatin just right, the recipe just right, so that way when you took it out of the mold, it held that perfect form. Well, that's kind of what we're thinking about here with our nursery pots, okay? Except we're not going to be eating this. The plants are going to be eating the soil out of here, right? Eating all the nutrients that the soil is going to hold. Now, you might be thinking, well, Jenny, you didn't add any biotone. Yes, not yet. Hold on, my friend. I'm not there yet. So I'm just going to keep packing this down. I'm going to show you what it looks like here in just a second. Got all the soil in, nice and packed down. Now, at this point, if you don't want to put mulch on it, which I highly recommend you do, you can go ahead and lift out the pots, sprinkle in your biotone, put the plants in. However, it does make a huge difference, both aesthetically and for the plants, to have some mulch here in the container, right? So I'm trying to be more selective with this and putting it between the pots, so that exposed soil between where the wave pansies are going to go and Ms. America. If you're looking for Ms. America, it's M-I-Z, it's not M-I-S-S. So it really is Ms. America. You can order the seeds, you can grow it yourself, or as I do, visit your local garden center and get it there. Okay, so we got the mulch in. So now what we're gonna do is gently lift out the pots, and our hole is perfectly there. Now at this point, because I have so many holes in my container, I'm gonna go ahead and biotone and go ahead and replace the pot with the plant one at a time. So since these are little pansies, I'm just putting a little sprinkle right there in the bottom. You actually want your biotone to be in direct contact with the roots. So then you take your plant and you slip it in, and boom, it goes in perfectly. So we're just gonna make our way around, being nice and gentle. A little dab of biotone, maybe a tablespoon I'm putting in. I'm not that kind of cook that measures perfectly. That's why I'm a better cook than I am a baker. I don't measure precisely. It's a little dab of this and a little dash of that. I garden the same way. Wiggle, wiggle. Sprinkle. All right, boom, there you go. Now, Ms. America. Oh, lol, we have Ms. America overboard. I guess that made it in the camera, I don't know. I told you it was a windy day. She's tough. If you're gonna be Ms. America, you gotta be tough, right? Okay, so here we go. Sprinkle of biotone. Now, Ms. America has got some leaves that are hanging down low. That doesn't bother me because I'm going to trim them up and clean them up a little bit. Now, at this point, first of all, let me make sure her pretty side's showing. All right, so what you're going to do with all your plants, you're going to go in there, give them a little zhuzh, snug them down in there. Now, what I'm going to do is get my little snips, and I'm going to clean up the ones that are hanging down low on top of the pansies. Just clean it up a little bit. All right, my friends, so there you go. Cute, simple, easy little trick. You don't have to worry about messing up the plants when you're planting them, trying to get the soil in there. I love that little hack. So don't fret about me pruning the Ms. America because, like all of your cool weather crops, they're just going to keep continuously producing new leaves. My chickens are going to be so excited because they're going to get to have some mustard as a snack this morning. What I'm going to do is go ahead and get the other one planted, and then I'll give you an up close view of how everything looks. And then of course we got to clean up all of our mess, get everybody watered because I think we're done with the rain. So I got my hose link, I'm going to pull it over here, get it all watered, and then I'll show you an up close view of it in just a second. There we go. 2 summer containers, they are out of here. The fall, winter, early spring containers are planted, and it is going to be absolutely lovely. In the fall, I keep it simple. A lot of times I keep it simple. My life is complicated enough. I don't need my containers to be complicated or fussy or divas or high maintenance. I like easy peasy plants, and let me tell you, these are easy peasy plants. They are got everything cleaned up, got them all watered. They are getting nice and dried off now with the breeze that we are having. But yeah, I mean, it's just easy, y'all. The trailing pansies are going to fill in. They are, I think this is called the golden yellow color. So I mean, they truly are just like the pure perfection of yellow. It is the big bird yellow, shall we say. So 4 of those in there is plenty enough. They will fill in and be quite happy. All of these, remember, were in the greenhouse. So once they get outside, they get acclimated to the seasonal temperatures that they love and crave, they will just absolutely explode. The mustard is going to fill in even more. The trailing pansies are going to get nice and thick, and they're going to fall over and just be gorgeous. We've had lots of granddaddy longleg spiders. I guess 'tis the season, they're right here. But yeah, just very, very cheery. Speaking of, let's walk down here just for a second and let me show you, for example, I'm putting practice to what I'm preaching here. You were with me when we put this container together, and when we did the Ms. America, they were very small. Look how pretty they are, right? So they have filled in. There were 2 in here, so nice and they were nice and petite little ones, so that's why I put 2 in. But everybody is doing great. So we have the snapdragons in here. Then these were another trailing pansy. Aren't they beautiful right there? And then we've got some little sweet little violas right here, and then my kale. My kale, probably, she's starting to turn on the outside. We're going to get into the upper 30s, so that should really kind of force along some color on this. But yeah, so this is what, this is what kind of containers we have, and you can see that the mustard is nice and upright. Also, if you have mustard, kale, or cabbage in your containers, don't freak out if you get leaves like this, because like I told you earlier, they are going to continuously produce new foliage. So we can easily just take this off. The chickens can have this. So any little yucky pieces right there, you can just take them off. It's not a problem because deep down in there, there are new leaves coming out. So there you go. Butterfly candy update. All right, so back here in the backyard, we have 2 of the 5 varieties. We have little coconut and we have little lavender. And y'all, they are doing amazing. This is little coconut. Little coconut got in the ground probably a good month before little lavender did. 3 of them obviously planted here. I planted them very close together because I want them to look like one giant mound of the same plant, right? It's gonna be a 3 by 3, but when we're planting them this close to each other, they're gonna really kind of fill in this and look like one very wide, not necessarily high, but one very wide butterfly bush. But here we are, early November, and they are still blooming, still have that lovely fragrance. If I had butterflies, they'd be all over it. The pollinators do love it. So the honeybees that are out, they are enjoying that, those fragrances, and of course all that sweet nectar. But this, y'all, all of this is brand new foliage. Are they not gorgeous? Now, this bed is on irrigation, but we have really not been running it very much at all. And so once you get your butterfly bushes established, they are really kind of quite drought tolerant, and they thrive on neglect. So there you go with little coconut. Now, what we're gonna focus on, and y'all, yes, I have weeds in my garden. Guess what? I bet you got weeds in your garden too. So there you go. We're gardeners. We all have weeds. So yes, there are weeds all through right here. And so yes, they need to be taken care of. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to focus on getting these guys mulched. So here we have the little lavender. And little lavender, obviously, as its name suggests, is a nice, soft, sweet lavender purple. Now, these are the ones that were planted like a month after the other little coconuts. So I've got 2 little lavenders and then 2 other little coconuts right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some mulch and we are going to top dress around it. Even though they don't have really good mulch right now, look at all of this new growth on them. They are unbelievable. Nice, tough plants. So what are we going to mulch with? Well, we're going to go back up here because I got that Daddy Pete up here that I was using to top dress. Let me grab Brenda's toy. I tell you, if you have a dog, don't they remind you of like toddlers? Toddlers are teenagers. They just take their toys out of the house and then they leave them laying around everywhere. I tell you what, and then when you go to mow the grass, well, that's a fun surprise now, isn't it? You hit that toy and boom, there you go. All right, I digress. So what we're going to use is what we've been using so much lately is the Daddy Pete. So Daddy Pete is aged pine bark fines, which is great for butterfly bushes because it provides a nice top layer form, adds irrigation to the ground, to the soil. It literally is aged pine bark, really finely chopped up, and so that's what it is. So that's what we're going to do. I've got about 3 or 4 bags that we're going to put out, and then boom, our work here for the day is going to be done. All right, my friends, so we had a little bit of lunch to eat, so it was delicious, and then my sweet husband came out here and poured out the Daddy Pete soil conditioner around the butterfly candies for me. So there's nothing to see here other than the final product. I was like, oh, thank you, love. So he took care of that for me. So there you go. They are nice and snugged in. They have a nice little blanket around them. This will go undisturbed for about a month because at the beginning of December, we have our tulips that will be arriving from color blends. So for us in North Carolina, we are a zone 8A, and our tulips have to be pre-chilled. So we have to give them a false winter in the refrigerator, otherwise they will not bloom as they should. Hence why tulips are annuals for me here in North Carolina. So color blends, if you order a certain quantity and you get them in the order in early enough, they will actually pre-chill your bulbs for you, which is a huge godsend because we only have several thousand of them arriving the beginning of December to go both here at the house and then at the signature garden. So we're definitely going to have pink tulips back here in the backyard. That's kind of been our thing for the past couple of years because Megan, who is our middle child, has just requested, she was like, Mama, I love pink tulips, which she does. And so, if you're a teenager asks for a certain flower, you plant the flower, which is not hard to fulfill that request for pink tulips. So the tulips will go in here, and then look at the dog. Right there in the freshly mulched flower bed. Yep, I'm telling you, rotten to the core. So the tulips will go in here as well. Now the butterfly candies, they stay. We're just going to plant around them with the tulips. But again, absolutely glorious day here. The maple tree, she is absolutely beautiful and happy. And then the ginkgo tree, oh my gosh, I mean, what else could you ask for other than maybe what I'm getting ready to do next is a campfire. So Jerry and I have a hot date. Thursdays, we're filming this on Thursday. Thursdays have been our standing date night days or date nights rather, for years. We started this when the kids were little, just as a way for us to like connect with each other and have a conversation and like to be able to really focus on each other. And like 99.9% of the time, like we don't go anywhere. We just have date night here. So, and the kids know this. So the kids, now that they're teenagers, they can fend for themselves and they go get their own supper and they go to their rooms and watch a movie or whatever. And then he and I just have the whole night to ourselves. So we're going to start early today and have our early afternoon coffee by the fire. And so I'm gonna go build, I wanna go get some firewood, and then 2, we're gonna build a fire and hang out by the fire pit this afternoon before we have our date night here at the house. So anyway, probably more information than you wanted to know, but you know, we're family here at Creekside. So if you are not part of the Creekside family, you have not subscribed to the channel, we would love it if you would subscribe. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. And this is a really fun community. I think this is a very supportive place. I love seeing people's comments, and then they're asking a question or this or that, and then other community members are coming in and supporting and shoring up and answering. So it truly is a family around here, and we would love it if you would join us in this fun adventure that we call life here at Creekside Nursery. Y'all have a fantastic day. Make today so amazing that yesterday gets jealous. See you next time. Bye, guys.